The administration of justice in the United States places significant emphasis on punishment as a crucial element in managing and mitigating crime. In the complex American history, the evolution of punishment, sentencing, and imprisonment in the United States is a complex narrative shaped by a combination of legal, social, and political factors. U.S. punishment evolved from corporal punishment to 20th century rehabilitation. The 1980s brought mandatory minimums and the war on drugs, causing a spike in incarceration. Now, awareness is growing for criminal justice reform, emphasizing alternatives to incarceration and tackling systemic issues for a fairer, more effective system. From biblical times through most of U.S. history, the dominant justification of punishment has been retribution, whose essential idea is that the punishment should fit the harm done by the crime. Retribution solely centers on the past criminal act, neglecting any assessment of potential future criminal behavior. Deterrence aims to prevent unlawful acts by instilling fear of consequences. Sentencing actual offenders so that the punished individual will not engage in future crimes involves specific deterrence, while general deterrence refers to preventing other potential offenders from engaging in crime by the example set in punishing specific offenders. Rehabilitation focuses on the transformation of offenders, offering education, therapy, and support to reintegrate them into society. It emphasizes personal growth, aiming to reduce recidivism and promote positive contributions to communities. Criminal incapacitation involves restricting offenders' ability to commit crimes, often through imprisonment. By physically separating them from society, this approach aims to protect the public from potential harm and deter criminal behavior during the period of incapacitation. Restorative justice seeks to repair the harm caused by offenses, emphasizing restitution to victims and community involvement. It aims to reintegrate offenders by addressing root causes and fostering accountability, promoting a more holistic approach to justice. Rich people often benefit from laws that define crimes and how they're enforced. They have advantages in legal resources, from the creation of laws to police actions and court decisions. In contrast, poor people face ongoing challenges, and the powerful keep gaining advantages throughout the entire legal process. The rich benefit in the criminal justice system through superior legal representation, access to resources, alternative sentencing options, and potential influence on prosecutorial decisions. Their financial advantage often translates into more favorable outcomes and better conditions if incarcerated, whereas the poor have limited access to alternatives like bail and rehabilitation programs. While wealthier offenders often avoid prison, those with fewer resources, even for minor offenses, face a quicker path to incarceration. The financial burdens of fines and fees associated with the criminal justice system can disproportionately affect the poor, leading to a cycle that increases the likelihood of jail time. Poverty significantly contributes to high incarceration rates, as disadvantaged individuals face limited access to legal resources, education, and employment opportunities. Systemic inequalities exacerbate this cycle, unfairly affecting the economically vulnerable in the criminal justice system. The U.S. boasts the highest global incarceration rate impacting minorities, particularly Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The difference between white people and minorities in the justice system shows biases at every step, along with other factors. According to the National Research Council, Blacks are treated less favorably than whites at a number of stages: in pretrial detention and prosecutorial charging decisions, and decisions to impose community rather than incarcerative punishments. A large percentage of the prison population are minorities, and this overrepresentation matters because of the harm prison does to individual families and communities. This population faces invisible punishments, such as employment barriers resulting from arrest and incarceration. This not only disrupts job continuity, but also perpetuates social exclusion. High rates of prior incarceration in a community can decrease marriageability, potentially increasing female-headed households and crime rates due to the lack of male supervision. The environment of women's prisons is generally less oppressive than those of men's because there's less violence, conflict, interracial tension, and hostility towards staff. However, women may experience imprisonment more negatively than men because of women inmates' separation from their families, especially children. 70% of female offenders have a child under 18 and are likely to be the primary caregiver. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, as of year-end 2015, women made up about 7% of prison inmates. Incarceration rates for females have grown faster than incarceration rates for men when incarceration was growing, and they've declined less than men's rates more recently. With women, the most common pathways to crime are based on survival of abuse and poverty and substance abuse. Women are typically incarcerated for survival crimes, mostly property and drug-related crimes, including but not limited to bad checks, welfare fraud, and credit card abuse. The overrepresentation of poor Black and Hispanic individuals in prisons destabilizes both economic and familial aspects in impoverished communities. This affects non-criminal impoverished women and their children, exacerbating strain as correction budgets rise, leading to cuts in state funds supporting low-income families and essential social services. The correctional system has become inextricably intertwined with the welfare, political, and economic systems. Crime control policies penalize the poor and people of color, especially Black and Hispanic persons, for relatively harmless acts and numerous crimes without victims. Additionally, 3 out of 4 youths admitted to adult courts, jails, and prisons are children of color. In conclusion, we must shift from punitive to rehabilitative measures addressing the roots of criminal behavior. Prioritizing rehabilitation, mental health, education, and community alternatives is crucial. Perhaps a holistic approach, considering socioeconomic inequalities and racial factors, is essential for reducing recidivism and fostering a more just and equitable system.